Good morning. On this Monday, we're going to look at Psalm 85, 86, 87, and 88, four of them today. Psalm 85 begins with the writer remembering. O Lord, you were favorable to your land. You restored the fortunes of Jacob. You forgave the iniquity. You pardoned. All of these words are past tense. So he's remembering that God has been faithful and forgiving and relenting in the past. And, he says, you withdrew all of your wrath. And then verse 4, do it again now. Restore us again, O Lord God of our salvation. Put away your indignation. And so, the psalmist is reminding himself and reminding God of what God has done in the past for his people Israel. And he's asking now, do it again. Verse 6, will you not revive us again so that your people may rejoice? Show us your steadfast love, O Lord. And, we realize that, you're not very active in our lives right now, and we're not active in yours. I mean, it's just it goes hand in hand, and then verse 8, it's, let me hear what God has to say. It's like somebody else has heard this plea so far and is now going to respond. Let me hear what he will speak, for he will speak peace to his faithful and to those who turn their hearts to him. And then verse 10, I love verse 10. Steadfast love and faithfulness will meet. Righteousness and peace will kiss each other. When we do the right things and when the right things are happening, love and faithfulness meet. Righteousness and peace will kiss. The harmony, living together in peace and harmony is the way it should be. Faithfulness will spring up from the ground and righteousness will look down from the sky. And so this psalm starts with that remembrance and then asking God to be present again and, come back into the people's lives and show his power. And then, the kind of the response, of who God is. Psalm 86, incline your ear, O Lord, to me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my life, for I am devoted to you. This person again, got some problems. Got, sickness or health, problems, or something's going on. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God, be gracious to me. Here again, a plea for God's presence, and then the statement, you are my God. I am faithful to you. I believe in you, God. And this is an important thing. Be gracious to me, Lord, for to you I cry all day long. For to you I lift up my soul. O Lord, you are good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call on you. And so, this person writing knows who God is and knows that, the writer belongs to God, that he's faithful. Give ear, listen to my prayers. In the day of trouble, I call upon you. And then verse 11, teach me your ways that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to keep your name holy. And then verse 15, that Old Testament creed. But you, O Lord, are a God, merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. Turn to me and be gracious to me. Again, reminding himself and God who God is. A God who is merciful and gracious. Slow to, this is the kind of God, the kind of a person that you want to be with. And to think of God in this way, that he's merciful and gracious. Those are the first descriptors. Merciful and gracious God. That he's ready to forgive, ready to embrace us, ready to welcome us back into his presence. Psalm 87 begins, on the holy mount stands the city he founded. The Lord loves the gates of Zion. And Zion often is another name for Jerusalem. They say, Zion instead, and why, I don't know, but it is. So he loves the gates of Zion. He loves the city of Jerusalem. He loves the land that he has provided for his people. And is pleased to be a part of it. And then gracious things are spoken of you, O city of God. This is, city of God. This is Jerusalem. It's the city of God. Rather than think of a city of the earth, but it's a city of God. And then it goes on, he mentions, I mentioned Rahab and Babylon, Philistia, Tyre, Ethiopia. Believers come from all places, all walks of life, all races and creeds and, all people, and so, there are believers and trusters in God, and, not just within the Jewish community, even then, there were people of other nations who believed in the God of Israel, because they had seen so much of what this God of Israel had done. And verse 7 of chapter Psalm 87, singers and dancers say alike, all my springs are in you. And springs, not like in springs that make you jump or bounce, but spring, like spring, summer, fall, and winter. Spring, a new beginning, a new start, a fresh opening. Maybe you could put all my blessings are in you, or all my desires are in you. My beginnings are all in you. And just, it's just, to think of that image that when you start something over, and you can trust that God is with you in it. And each day we have a new start on a day. Each moment we have a new start, and to think about the forgiveness that God comes, it's just because we sin once doesn't mean that God has abandoned us, but we have this fresh start, a new beginning, each and every time that we come to God and request that forgiveness and that grace. And it's a reminder too of, to never give up, to persevere. I smoked for a lot of years. I quit smoking a lot of times. It's been quite a few years since the last time I quit. And, but each time that I quit, it was a new beginning of a new start and a fresh start. And it's just, and maybe that's not a real great example, but, there are so many things in life that we begin, maybe it's a diet, maybe, it's like I said, smoking, maybe it's a habit to break or whatever it might be. But we start afresh, and then we fall, and then we start again, and it's a new beginning, a spring, and to know that God is with us in all of our springs, all of our new beginnings, that God will be with us and watch over us and lead us and guide us. Psalm 88 begins, O Lord, God of my salvation, when at night I cry out to you in your presence, let my prayer come before you. Incline your ear to my cry. Let my prayer come before you. Psalm 141 verse 2 is, let my prayer rise up like incense before you. And it's, we sing that in the Holden Evening Prayer Service. I'm trying to find the right page here in my book. Let my prayer rise up as incense before you, and lift up the hands as an evening sacrifice. It's let my prayers rise up like incense before you, and lifting up of my hands as a sacrifice. And so it's just, we lift up our prayers to God. And there's another place in the Psalm that, God says, your offerings are a stench to me. I don't appreciate that smell at all of your burnt offerings. And you think about, burnt offerings. I mean, they do stink, but prayers, our feelings, our thoughts, our needs, our desires, those are the things that we come to God with, that he openly and gladly hears. This is what he wants. He wants a contrite heart. He wants to hear us ask for that forgiveness. And as we go on, that verse 4, I'm counted among those who go to the pit, like those forsaken among the dead, sick and near death, and he's crying out. And verse 8, you've caused my companions to shun me. You have made me a thing of horror to them. And it makes me think of lepers in that day. They were outcasts. So I think of even today now, COVID. if you got COVID, well, you know, and we were a little bit better about COVID now, but you know, you think of how COVID has changed our lives. And verse 16, your wrath has swept over me, your dread assaults and destroys me. And verse 18, you know, just a terrible feeling of aloneness. You have caused friend and neighbor to shun me. My companions are in darkness. I'm alone. I'm all alone, God. I'm shut out. I'm cut off from society. And we all know and understand that feeling, especially because of COVID. But, you know, I think about even, you know, you got a cold, you got this or that or whatever. You know, you kind of, you know, try to stay away from others. But we sometimes have that terrible feeling of aloneness. And the psalmist that writes this psalm is definitely feeling alone and shunned by community.